Good morning. It's Nikki Phoenix from True to Self. I'm in my pajamas on purpose because we need to talk. I've been doing so much research on, as I'm sure millions of people are, about YouTube, how to communicate. You know what? It's going to take time, and I'm finding my way. And last week I did my first beautiful, what I think was special for me, spiritual teaching. So much came out and was evoked just by that. And I'm understanding that there's going to be different videos that I do. So this is the category of raw and honest. Maybe I should call them we need to talk. You know, it's that uncomfortable conversation that you have to have. I think it's time for the world to start understanding that we got to start having these uncomfortable conversations. Do you know, I start having courage and speaking up, let's just say on my little church group. And let me tell you, it's not easy for me to show up in the church group because I think differently and I express myself differently to the Christianese. There is such a thing as Christianese because in the Christian church, we are conditioned to speak in a certain way, think in a certain way, and you're not allowed out of those bounds. And I don't even want to go down that road this morning. I'm just leaning on some of the beauty this morning because life is sore, it's painful, and those are the tough conversations we got to start having, guys. And I'm going to put you in the framework now. Number one, this is speaking right into the genre and the gap that I want to fill, and that is secular world, Christian world. It's a bizarre dynamic because they are both one and the same and they are separate. And those are the tough conversations we have to have. So what is it that I want to say? I want to say to secular people, I need your love. I need your love. Why do I want to say that? Because in the secular world, we are taught to be uno, singular, independent, self-sufficient, not needing anyone. I heard Trevor Noah saying the other day on a little clip, this whole idea of being self-made is absurd. And I have to say, I agree with him. Nobody is ever self-made, even in the sense of wealth or company, not to diminish, as he so rightly said, the accomplishment. But nobody is ever self-made. My point being, we are created in the image of love and life. We need one another. This is my heart to heart with you this morning. We need one another. I need your love, and I know that you need my love. You can go down the rabbit hole of purpose on that, because the greatest love that I can give you from me is to give you the gift that God gave me. But even in an everyday sense, that's more on a deeper or a bigger life purpose level. But in the everyday sense, my darlings, my people, We have to understand as secular people that we need love. We do know that. We say it behind closed doors, but we never say it in public. We never celebrate that in the public space. It's not just in the family space. It's not just between a man and a woman or two lovers. It's in the everyday sense. It's even when I go to the shop and I love on the person who is the teller at the shop. And I connect and I smile and that's pouring into people. We need each other more than ever before. And we cannot be looking upon one another as isolated individuals, because that is an illusion. And this speaks into us knowing that as human beings, we are also just born into this world and we have to take it as it comes. There's an exquisite vulnerability in that. There is an innocence in that. We seem to have lost touch in all the judgment and all the clambering for the material world and all the, as I put it, the worshipping of the money god. Then you begin to understand why it says you can't love both God and money. There is a hierarchy and a world in that, and that's a discussion for another day. But we all need love. We need love before we need the material. And that's where the mental health thing comes in. If we don't, I think that's why I know that's why we're having an epidemic of mental crises. Because it's not actually mental, it's heart. We as human beings, I know this is a tough conversation. Why are we not having this conversation? We as human beings need love. Why is it a taboo conversation? Because we live in a world that has painted love and emotional things as weakness. If I'm to be a barrier breaker, that is a barrier in conversation I want to break. We need love, people. We need love. Sorry, my dog's got a cough. I am treating her. Yeah, please, can we talk about this? Because it's also so embedded in our gatekeeper that is in our minds. The mind tells us no. The mind tells us people are not innocent. The mind judges. So we live in this judgmental world. So let's move to the Christian world now, which is separate and also part of the secular world. This is the bizarre thing, because actually the secular world was born out of Judeo-Christian traditions, the freedom and the values that came out of the Christian value system. But I'm going to separate the two specifically because there is this chasm between those two. Socially, we know that. You either are a church-going Christian and you believe in Jesus and understand the sacrifice and the surrender of your life to Jesus, or you're secular and independent. But the crazy and uncomfortable thing to have to talk about, I'm going to keep using this word uncomfortable, because I forge headlong into these conversations and people don't want to talk about it. They just don't. So I'm going to call it what it is. It's uncomfortable. Prepare to be uncomfortable. Because why is it that Christian people and secular people are showing up in the same way in the world. Judgment. How do you feel in the face of judgment constantly? Constantly. Why do Christians judge when Jesus is all about love? That is all about the doctrine and the way that it's been interpreted. But there are as many toxic and hateful people within the church and the Christian fraternity as there are in the secular world. That's my estimation of it. You can talk to anybody who's had issues with the church. For the purposes of this conversation, we are failing to see that we are human. We are failing to recognize that each one of us needs love. We are failing to see that we're all vulnerable. We are failing to appreciate that we are not the king of the world, isolated, can take over the world. Any person who's achieved great things has never done it on their own, as Trevor was saying. Donald Trump, did he get to the position that he's in the world, like him or hate him, on his own? No. No. I implore you, as you go out into your day to day, to find your heart and to see the innocence and the vulnerability, regardless of the bravado, the innocence and the vulnerability, and stop judging people. We need one another, my friends. I need you. I need you. I need to know that I'm loved and supported. It's a reciprocity in order to deliver and show up in the world the way God wants me to. The way God wants me to. I can't do that without your love. You are part of God in the world. You are part of God in the world. Again, I think this is where the Christian church is letting us down. It forgets to remind us that we are all Jesus in this world. We are all his representatives as love in this world. We need to look upon one another like that. And this judgment that has come out and skewed our view of one another as humanity at large is truly devastating. And it isolates us. It isolates us in our relationships, in our world. We are not invincible. We're not. We need one another. We need love from one another. And this is how we become God's family in the world, is to love one another. None of us are invincible. I personally feel that too often the egos of people around me in my life have just said, no, this is fine. Nikki's got this. She's amazing. No, guys. I can only do so much as I feel supported to do. I need input too. I cannot survive alone. I'm only as good as actually you make me. And in that, there is reciprocity, that you are only as good in this world as I make you. If I feed into you, if I love you, if I say you are a child of God, I am a child of God. We need one another, my friends. Yes, we do. And we need to stop being so hateful and also so weak, because loving one another does not mean flouting the law. Loving one another is not a free-for-all. It doesn't mean free sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Love in its true form is a power and a muscle and an intelligence of spiritual law that we need to obey and comply with and respect and uphold, so that we may all flourish, so that we may all look upon one another in a way that is seeing the spark of life in one another and saying, hey, I had something to do with loving this person in the world, and look how they are shining. Look how they are flourishing. No person, no tough guy in the world ever gets to where he is without self-belief and without the people around him loving them. And I say him because that's the iconic view or image that we have, this stereotype of the tough guy, the king of the world. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. Please, can you go out today and not only remind the people in your life that you love them, but more than that, tell them that you need them. Tell them that you need their love, that this is a two-way street, and that you cannot be who you need to be in this world without their love and support consistently. And nobody has the right to tell you otherwise. That is our only right. Even if there is bad, we all have those challenges. Nobody has the right to break other people down about who they are, unless it's done in a loving way and a necessary way. But to judge others just gratuitously about why they're bad, why they're such a sinner, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. There's one commodity in this world, one only, that we're in the most massive deficit for right now in this 20th century, after hundreds of years of brutal history, and that is love. And it starts at home. It starts at home, my friends. Stop the abuse. Stop the mental health issues. Heal yourself so that you can love and appreciate the vulnerability and change your views and your beliefs. And I implore Christians to understand that you do not have a right to look upon other people as sinners. You only have a right to look upon yourself as a sinner. The only right you have is to love others as you would love yourself in your own imperfection. That is what I believe Jesus really meant. So go and ask, why are you so judgmental of others? Why? Take the log out of your own eye, right? We got to have these uncomfortable conversations, and I'd like to do them at least once a week. And please feel free to comment. I'd love to know your thoughts. and stop arguing with me about, no, you can't say that. I am so up to here with it. Yes, I can say that. And if you're uncomfortable with it, then go and think about it. We're all vulnerable human beings who are doing pretty much the best that we can do. And we need each other's love if we are going to change this world. Examine what stands between you and that. Have a beautiful day. And like I said, always, I love you.